2 miles underground, an entire city. Nuclear war, an asteroid, or just everything ending all at once. One city, built to answer all three at once.
This city keeps living.
Each threat needed its own kind of strong, and this city had to build all three. So how do you build one city that can survive three completely different kinds of disaster? Let us go inside, one threat at a time. Before it can answer any of the three threats, it starts as concrete engineered to survive forces most concrete never has to consider. Every material that will seal this mountain first has to survive the same quiet, unremarkable road that leads to it.
For nuclear war, the answer starts here. Concrete mixed to a density most construction never requires.
Every batch has to survive a shock most materials would shatter under. Alongside the concrete, sealed steel chambers are being shaped, designed specifically to isolate a blast, not just resist it. If it is not completely sealed, none of the rest of this matters. This mix has to reach the mountain before it ever begins to set.
Even reaching the mountain requires clearing a checkpoint, and most maps do not show.
The first step is not building anything for the nuclear scenario. It is removing an entire section of mountain. The mountain does not want to stay open on its own. Every meter has to be held up by hand. This is the moment the mountain stops being a mountain and starts becoming a city. The first door frame of the nuclear scenario's answer rises, the beginning of a barrier meant to hold against almost anything. Once this is in place, everything behind it becomes a different kind of space entirely. When this door closes, nothing gets in or out until someone decides otherwise. This system's entire job, for this specific threat, is keeping radioactive particles completely out of the air people breathe.
Before it is ever trusted, this system has to prove it can filter out exactly what it is supposed to.
The joints carrying the most weight get extra strength, and no visitor will ever notice. Even the finishes here are chosen for one reason: durability, not decoration. Red marks exactly one thing here: the places where speed matters most. Hundreds of sensors like this one exist for exactly one scenario, knowing the instant a blast or radiation spike ever happens. Even the backup entrance gets the exact same level of protection as the main one. For this threat specifically, staying hidden matters just as much as staying strong. Even the floor here is poured to the exact same blast-rated standard as the walls around it. Even inside the mountain, not every chamber is open to everyone who works here. One threat, fully answered. 2 more still waiting.
For the first time, the door closes exactly the way it is meant to. Completely and without...
Nuclear war, answered now for the second threat. An asteroid impact is not the same problem as a bomb, and it is a completely different kind of force, from a completely different direction. For an impact this size, depth alone is not enough. This section goes even further down. Above their heads, thousands of tons of solid rock are now held up by a few thousand bolts, the same rock that would absorb an impact's shock.
This layer's only job is to absorb a shock before it ever reaches the people inside.
Before it is trusted with the real thing, This layer has to survive an impact built specifically to break it. A second city within the city, built specifically deep enough to shrug off what falls from above.
Compare this column to the ones in the nuclear wing. This one was built for a completely different kind of force.
Every joint here is built the same careful way, just calibrated for a different kind of stress entirely. An impact this size would not just hit the surface, it would shake the ground itself, and this system exists purely to absorb that. Before it is ever trusted, this system has to survive a shake built specifically to overwhelm it.
Even deeper down, and the same lighting system keeps this section from ever going completely dark.
This equipment has exactly one job: to know, instantly, if the ground above has changed. Even the tunnel connecting these two sections has to survive both threats at once.
The same colors, the same materials, just built for a different kind of day.
An entire second network, built purely to answer a threat that comes from the sky instead of a warhead. Out here, at the deepest point in the entire structure, the only light comes from the work itself. If the primary structure ever takes real damage, this independent system exists purely to keep the space standing anyway. It has to prove it can hold up this section completely on its own, if it ever has to. The joints carrying the most weight down here get exactly the same extra strength as the ones above. A second threat, fully answered, one more still waiting. Every sensor built for this exact scenario now reports back, functioning correctly.
Confirmed. Everything is fully operational.
From down here, it is hard to imagine anything from the sky ever reaching this far. Even this deep, and built for this specific scenario, the finish still has to be perfect. This wing gets its own door, its own seal, and its own complete test, separate from everything built for the first threat.
It's an asteroid, answered now for the third and final threat. The third threat is not one specific event. It is simply everything above stopping to function, for reasons that could be almost anything.
This system is not built for radiation specifically. It is built to keep air breathable no matter what is actually happening outside. Even air has to be engineered here, filtered, redundant, and completely self-contained if it ever needs to be, indefinitely. If every source of power above ground ever stops, this room takes over without anyone needing to flip a single switch.
Enough water is stored here to last years, not days, because this threat has no guaranteed end date.
Systems. This is not just a bunker. It is designed for people to actually live here indefinitely, if that is what this specific...
Enough is stored here to last long past anyone's optimistic estimate of how bad or how long things could get. Stored food eventually runs out. This chamber exists for a scenario long enough that new food has to actually be grown. When the first seedlings actually grow down here, it proves the system can sustain life far longer than any stockpile alone. Power has to travel just as far underground as it would above it, with a backup for every single line, for this threat especially. Even underground, this place needs a way to know what is actually left to reconnect with, eventually. Even a shelter built for the worst day still needs a place to take care of the people inside it, for however long that day lasts. For the first time, every system needed to sustain life completely independently comes online, all at once.
For the first time, this entire place proves it completely on its own. Even the backup to the backup gets tested here, because for this threat, assumptions simply are not allowed.
Every so often, visitors arrive who never appear on any site schedule.
And then, just as quickly, everything continues like nothing happened. a third threat, fully answered, all three, finally, in one connected place.
One last walk through three completely different answers to three completely different questions.
Nuclear war, an asteroid, the end of everything above it, all three, now, fully answered.
Every system, every chamber, every one of the three threats, approved one final time.
For the first time, all three answers close at once, exactly the way they are meant to.
For the first time, this entire place proves it can survive completely on its own, no matter which of the three threats actually shows up. No fireworks, no big celebration, just quiet confirmation that all three answers actually work. The very first people to walk these corridors step into a space built entirely for 3 different days they hope never come. From outside, it is just another mountain. Nothing about it will ever suggest 3 completely different disasters were planned for underneath it.
Within weeks, what once seemed impossible becomes just another quiet shift, watching for 3 different things at once, day after day.
3 separate answers, built for 3 separate disasters, all meeting in exactly the same place. 1 mountain, 3 threats, 1 city, ready for a day everyone hopes never actually arrives.
Every sunrise will light up this mountain, exactly the same way it always has.
This is not just concrete and steel. And this is what happens when a nation refuses to bet everything on only one kind of disaster.
Nuclear war, an asteroid, the end of everything above it. 2 miles down, this city keeps living.
This video is created for education and informational purposes using advanced AI tools and human creativity. All concepts, scripting, and storytelling are independently developed to ensure originality. Visuals and animations are generated or enhanced using AI technologies such as VO3, Meta AI, and Grok AI, while final editing and post-production and completed using CapCut and other professional editing tools. No external created content has been copied or reused. Any semblance to real-world environments, factories, or processes is purely coincidental. All scenes shown in this video are digitally created and do not represent real footage. This content is produced with transparency and follows YouTube monetization guidelines.